That's right. Are we live? All right. Please stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll get started. I appreciate everyone that came and braved the weather, and all those that are taking an interest in their city and watching us on television, or those that will watch tomorrow or the next day on YouTube. I have a very, very abbreviated mayor's report. Most of the information is known, so there's no reason to go over it again. I'll just briefly mention that most people know that the Scenic Library has bought the old Alco building and will be moving into that. When they sell a couple of properties they have elsewhere. The AT&T cell tower will be covered a little later, and that is an AT&T cell tower, even though the lease will go into the name Singular. Singular is owned by AT&T now, and still has some leases in their name. That's the way they wanted to do it. I have been assured by the contact person that AT&T signals will be bounced off that tower, and AT&T customers will see, as he said, a significant increase in their communication. As you know, Proposition Streets will be on the April 2nd ballot, and we're getting ready for a workshop, which will be at the next Alderman meeting. It'll start at 6, run from 6 to 7 on the 25th of February. If you have any questions or are interested in learning or asking, please come to that. I urge everyone to come and learn, and we would appreciate that. You'll be in this room. We'll have some maps and so forth to show you what the plan is, and we're working hard on that. And the fiber optic utility is moving forward, but there's really not a lot to talk about at this point in time. I would like for Mark to maybe talk about his street crew and a little bit about his leadership in the Proposition Streets.
Sure. Once again, I want to thank the city street department for keeping our streets safe during the recent freezing rain. It was treacherous out there, as we all know, and they had to work cut out for them. I know they had to spread salt backwards going up hills at times because they just couldn't chance going downhill. They couldn't stop. So I want to thank them again for risking life and limb so we can get around out there. As far as the Proposition Streets, we had a good meeting today with the street foreman, public works director, and the electric foreman on some street prioritization and maybe like a phase 1 of our street projects. For that public hearing on the 25th, myself and the street foreman, public works director, city clerk, and the bond underwriter will all be here to answer any questions you may have on the proposition.
And the alderman.
And the alderman and the mayor, of course. Anyway, we'll have enough people here that surely we can answer your questions. That's all I have.
Okay, we can start then on Dave Polite is not here. He has the flu, he has a fever, and he's excused. We don't need that. So I said, we gave him special dispensation, and we'll send him some chicken soup, and we hope he's feeling better, but I'll be doing my best to fill in for him. And Trish will help me when I get off track. Ordinance number 2127, this is the second reading. Bill number 219-02, an ordinance to provide that the city of Herman, Missouri will participate in the 2019 Show Me Green sales tax holiday. Any explanation needed or any discussion of that?
I move a second.
Second. Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. The next is bill number 2019-03. An ordinance to amend ordinance number 2013 regarding the budget for the fiscal year 2018-2019. Trish, do you want to explain?
Sure. This is what we do semi-annually to kind of clean up the budget for some unexpected things that arise during the course of the year. And so that's what these are. I did ask the mayor if we could read it twice tonight in order to get these changes made in the computer system before I print budget worksheets for the 1920 budget year later this week. So again, as Dave Fleet always explains to us, the language in the state law says we have to have an ordinance and a resolution, which is later on in the agenda.
We have this twice a year, she said, so it's a routine and any further discussion? I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded on this side. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. We're going to read that again. Second reading, bill number 2019-03, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 2013 regarding the budget for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Make a motion to be second read.
Second.
We have a motion and second on this side now. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. Bill number 2019-04, an ordinance to authorize the execution of an option and land lease agreement by and between the city of Herman, Missouri and the new Singular Wireless PCS LLC. I explained it, but I think everyone already knows what it is.
I have a question.
Sure.
This new tower is going to be 2/3 the height of the one that's already up there, right? Is it 2/3?
It's 160 feet and the one's up there is 190 feet.
Okay, because I had a citizen ask me if there's any way the taller tower could have some kind of light on it. I don't know what FAA
It has to be
FAA
200
says,
feet.
200 feet, but he's concerned about maybe planes, somebody fly along the river. I don't know if that's something we
Yeah.
need to look at, a light on that taller tower.
No, they
you know?
purposely made it 190 feet so they didn't have to have a light on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll move Bill 219-04, first read.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion's carried. Mark, do you think we should second read this one so AT&T can get cracking on it? What do y'all think?
I'm for anything that moves it along.
It won't hurt, nothing's going to change between now and then, I don't believe.
Well, let's go ahead and read it again. Bill number 2019-04, second read, an ordinance to authorize the execution of an option and land lease agreement by and between the city of Herman, Missouri and New Singular Wireless PCS LLC.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, second motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a resolution number 1263. A resolution to describe facts and reasons for a necessary amendment to the city's budget for fiscal year 2018-2019.
I move to accept the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to accept the resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. Do we have any old business? Do we have any new business?
I have something.
Please.
I think everyone has a copy of this. I've had some different citizens talk to me, and I would like to present some reasons why we may want to have an ordinance on guest houses. The number of guest houses is expanding very quickly. It's been up about 65% in the last 3 years. The guest houses take up single-family residential homes, which are needed for population growth. Our school enrollment is down and it continues to decrease, and people are having a hard time finding places to live in our town. Guest houses don't use as much utility, maybe a third of what a single-family residence uses, so that means those houses are sitting empty, except for maybe the weekends. I've had citizens come to me from both wards stating that they are concerned about the number of guest houses that we're getting. A very large number of guest house owners and operators are concerned that there are too many of them for them to operate profitably. Guest houses at times are opening up without the knowledge of the city and without proper business licenses in wrong zone neighborhoods and not paying their sales or tourism taxes. And our guest houses are unregulated virtually. There's no owner manager on site, control of how many people are staying there, parking can be an issue, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, carbon dioxide detectors in guest houses, crowd management, monitoring of their licensing, their sales tax, and their tourism taxes. So if we could maybe place a hold on granting any more guest house business licenses in R1, R2, or R3 zone neighborhoods, we can take some time to evaluate this. Keep it in commercial, but in the residential areas, put a hold on them until we can solve the problem and look at it more.
As far as guest houses goes, we're already not allowing them in R1.
Right.
That's already an ordinance.
I think also there's the issue of guest houses the city's being told that they're bed and breakfast. So we're allowing them in R1. And I believe that may have been what Alderwoman was speaking of, but that's a problem too. Anybody else want to talk about that?
Well, a couple years ago, I might have had a little more reservation about this, but I've watched as it's steamrolled. And there are guest houses now who've actually been here for quite a while having a problem filling their rooms. I actually feel this is actually a pretty good idea, at least for long enough for us to decide how we want to do this, to maybe put a slight moratorium on it just for now. I mean, we don't have to beat this to death over a year's time. We can decide in a month or two how we want to proceed with this. But I also think we need an enforcement officer.
I agree.
We can't have him or one of us going around house to house and checking on these people. We need a dedicated person to go to these places and find out if they're obeying the law. I mean, that's beginning to become more and more of a problem as this goes on. People just slip in here, oh no, I'm a B&B. You don't live there. It's not a B&B, it's a guest house. So I think if we're going to do this, that's going to have to be a part of it. We can use one of our police officers. I honestly think that would be a good idea. Give them extra duties, pay them a little extra for it. But I really think if we're going to do this, that should be an important part of it.
I think that would be one of the things we could look at during the period when they're on hold, and that should be something that we look at, ways to possibly
Police.
monitor how many people are there.
Yeah.
I've gotten complaints about it, and I think everybody has it. And I think that the legitimate B&B owners are concerned too, that they have a couple rooms to rent, and they can put 2 or 3 people per room in their 3-bedroom home that they live in. But the guest house down the street has 15 people in it, and that may be some of the reason why they're having trouble filling them up. I've said in the past that I thought that the free enterprise system would take care of this, but it hasn't yet, and we could end up with a mess here. So I think that maybe for a time to evaluate the solutions to these problems, maybe it is a good idea.
Well, from a safety standpoint, say the fire department, you've got a guest house that's supposed to have 10 maximum occupancy of 10 people. They got 15, 20 people in there and they have a fire. The fire department doesn't even know how many people they're supposed to be looking for. And that is a major concern. Lord willing, I don't want it to happen, but Murphy's Law tends to jump out and bite us occasionally. You know, eventually, we're gonna have a problem in one of these guest houses. And it would certainly be nice to know how many people are actually in it when that happens.
I think,
And our office staff, they check, and I think it might help them also. I mean, they're checking, but they aren't gonna go out and do all of these things. They've
No.
got enough to do.
I think it would be a good idea too to ask the fire department what kind of safety equipment we should have in these. I know maybe it's smoke detectors, CO2 detectors, fire extinguishers, things like that, and we could maybe put that in here too, that we would check these every so often to make sure they work and so forth. Extra parking, we need to try and figure that out, because in some of the downtown areas, when we're in our tourist season, parking's really at a premium. And anyway, a lot of things to talk about, so.
Part of the issue with these guest houses, the owners aren't there when these people check in. They have a keypad, so they don't know how many people are actually going into their place. They don't know.
And
You
if
know, 6 of them may be coming, but all of a sudden there's 14 there because they brought their friend.
Well, that's where an enforcement officer would come in.
But, you know,
Well, I think Susan, it's a good idea that we need to consider. And if there's any more discussion, I mean, we've talked about bits and pieces of it, and everybody up here, me included, has brought this up at one time or another, some part of it. And I'd like to see if we can't get some rules that are workable and see what we can do. And it's gonna take some time, because we're trying to bail out a boat with a hole in the bottom, and it seems like maybe we ought to fix a hole in the bottom for a while. It'd be a lot easier, so, maybe the next step is let Dave look at it, see what he can come up with, unless I hear something else. Is that?
No, I think that's a good idea. I mean, the guest houses are awfully good for town. We need to protect the ones we have.
And the other thing too, I guess, it seems to me, and I hear this from the people that are actually operating these, and bed and breakfast owners too, but they don't even know, some of the people have 6 or 7 or 8 of these, and you can't have 6 or 7 bed and breakfasts. We could catch that. You only have one, because you can only live in one place at a time. But some of them are not necessarily, if they don't even know who's there, they're probably not going to bring them hot rolls in the morning and a breakfast. So I don't know if they're getting our best hospitality efforts at the expense of some people who really are trying hard to put the best foot of the city forward and make people's stays here enjoyable and memorable. So anything else anybody wants to talk about?
Thursday is the 11th annual Red Heart Walk. I encourage people to come and walk. It's a 0.6-mile walk downtown. There are red hearts along the way, and they have heart health facts, because we want to keep all of us healthy in Herman.
And it's at what time?
11:30 to 12:30.
Okay.
And it starts and ends at Herman Hoff Winery.
All right, very good. Excellent. Any other new business? Okay, we have some motions now. We have the minutes. What shall we do with them this time?
Move to approve.
second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Invoices for payment.
Motion to pay the bill.
Bruce wants to pay the bills. Is there a
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bills are paid. Hire Mallory Levy as pool manager, and hire Kyle Walker and Valerie Hagedorn as assistant managers. Is
I
there
make
any?
a motion to approve those two.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations and welcome aboard. The annual renewal of the Missouri Intergovernmental Risk Management Association, MIRMA Insurance. Any discussion?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's approved. We have a conditional use permit, Mike and Lynette Sloan, Herman Worst House, outdoor liquor consumption, 234 East First Street.
I make a motion to approve their permit.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded on this side. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's approved. We have a motion for outdoor seating permit renewal, Mike and Lynetta Sloan, Herman Worst House, 234 East First Street.
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion made and duly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Item G, approved purchase of a 2019 F-250 truck for the utility departments. Is that, you want to tell us about that? What do you know about it?
They need a new truck.
Okay, and who'll use it, all of them?
It'll be in the gas, water, and sewer departments. They were sharing a truck with the street department for the last several years. Street would use it during the winter months, put their spreader on it, their plow, and use it during the winter months. And so now, basically, we're going to give the street department that truck to use full-time, and they're going to buy themselves a pickup truck.
And this is in the budget and
Yes.
it's low budget.
Yes.
Okay. I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Do we have any citizens' comments? There being no citizens' comments or committee reports, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Okay, very good. Anything to sign?
A lot of things,
A
yeah.
lot of things to sign. All right.
Started on this.
And chair.